a start, I would like to know what was the drivers that caused the political directorates in our country to decide that this is a time to revamp the Constitution. What are some of those triggers? What was the background? I ask because I think many of us, including myself, don't know what some of these things were that triggered our elected officials to make this serious decision. And I do applaud the fact that you're coming to the people to get their views and so on. But I think some groundwork, some information would be helpful at this stage. Thanks.
People are suspect because it's not all the time, as Commissioner Shaw said, 42 years. In 42 years, we've looked at the Constitution by the people in 1999-2000. What happened in 1999-2000? There was civil unrest in our nation. You remember the universal healthcare debacle, the riots at the National Assembly. People were agitated. They were upset with their government. Upset. The government yielded to that civil unrest and said, okay, I am going to appoint a 14-man commission, no law, like what we have. This was the government of Prime Minister Musa. I'm going to appoint a 14-member commission. I'm going to give you 12 months and tell me what the people are upset about. That commission produced a report. It was chaired by Dylan Vernon. And there were several persons. I have a copy of the report in my briefcase. They produced 103 recommendations. 103. The government acted on some. Cherry-picked the one they liked, the one they didn't like, push it one side. But to make your point, there was public agitation that drove the 1999-2000. As you rightly say, what's driving this one? I mean, people call in at the talk shows and rail up. But there's nobody on the street stoning the National Assembly and making a fuss about what is wrong or what they feel is wrong. So this one is coming in under calm.
And if you look on page 6, and one want to look at that, you'll see that the suggestion that the judicial, executive, and the others should be subservient to the Constitution, which means that they should follow the Constitution. And the CCJ not being Belizean judges, they would maybe not required to follow the Constitution as Belizeans do.
In the context that Belize is a developing country, much of our people are ignorant, and I'm not using the word ignorant from the standpoint of how it's used generally, where it's more, that's more of arrogance. You just don't know. I think the government, the state, has an obligation to improve the educational standards of every citizen of the country, particularly if those educational institutions are paid for by the state.
A response to your comment, remember I said the Constitution contains a preamble which says what are some of our values. So here, right here, I don't know how much of you can see that good, but I'll read the whole thing because it's important. It says in the preamble, it says, whereas the people of Belize, require policies of state which protect and safeguard the unity, freedom, sovereignty, and territorial integrity of Belize, which eliminate economic and social privilege and disparity among the citizens of Belize, whether by race, ethnicity, color, creed, disability, or sex, which ensures gender equality, which protect the rights of the individual to life, liberty, basic education, basic health, and the right to vote in elections, the right to work, and the pursuit of happiness, which protect the identity, dignity, and social and cultural values of Belizeans, including Belize's indigenous peoples, which preserve the right of the individual to the ownership of private property and the right to operate business, which prohibit the exploitation of man by man or by the state, which ensure a just system of social security and welfare, which protect the environment, which promote international peace, security, and cooperation among nations, the establishment of a just and equitable international economic and social order in the world with respect for international law and treaty obligations in the dealing among nations, says, now therefore the following provisions shall have effect as the Constitution of Belize. What I'm trying to say, having read all of that, you can see the reference to education, basic health. It says require policies of state.
In our schools they teach history, but then when you look at the history, then they teach about the Caribbean. And I think that we should teach more about our own history, because Belize have one history. And that way I make Belize appreciate our own part of the jewel as well, Mr. Khan is saying.
I don't see why it has to take a long period of time for somebody to get a land approved, considering that we are now living in a technological era. You know, you apply for a piece of land, you have to wait 2-3 years, sometimes 4 or 5 years, you don't get a piece of land. I myself, I was born in Belize. I don't want to say how old I am, but I'm very old, you know. But I cannot say that I have a piece of land in my name. I have applied so many times, and you know what? They push around till I give up, and I continue to squat for my land, which is not fair, because I'm a Belizean, and I believe that every Belizean deserves a piece of land.